everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Health and Wellness Summit, presented by Black Speakers Network and powered by PitchDB. This summit's theme is unity and wellness, strengthening the body and the mind together. We have a great lineup for you today, and it is filled with amazing speakers in the health and wellness space. But today, we are going to be all about uplifting and empowering the Black community. And what I love about this summit, that it isn't just focusing on one thing, but it is hitting all of the angles combined. So there is going to be some diverse perspectives, some community building, and some actionable insights. That means things that you can take home with you today to start implementing that is going to change your life. And before we get started, please allow me to introduce myself. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Keandra Jackson. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, award-winning speaker, best-selling author, and TV and media personality. The founder, Brian Oles, wanted a host. He knew that I was the woman for the job because I have been here since the beginning and the inception of Black Speakers Network. And it was an easy and immediate yes for me to be the host of today's event. And he chose me because I'm passionate about two things. One, mental health, and two, healthy relationships. And it goes without saying that I'm even more passionate about those things in the Black community. I've been a licensed therapist for over a decade now. And to be honest with you, I got into this line of work because of my own okay? My own family drama and my own family trauma. But even with that being the origin of my story, I personally knew that it wasn't supposed to be like this. If I can overcome all of the things that I went through in my own family, I knew that I could give back and help other people do the same thing for their families as well. I can't even express to you how important summits like this is, not only to me, but to the Black community, because to be honest, we're a little bit behind on the curve. While we are coming into a place where mental health is talked about a little bit more in the Black community and people are starting to go to therapy and learn all of these different techniques, I know that there are other ethnicities and other races that are a little bit ahead of us. And while this is a marathon and not a sprint, I am just here to be able to give that extra nudge and that extra knowledge to those of you who are out there listening today. Out of everything that you do, it stems from your mental health. You can't be any help and any assistance or any good to anybody if you don't take care of yourself first. That means in order for you to show up for your kids, for your employees, for your spouse, for anybody else in the world, you have to pour into yourself and make sure your cup is full so you won't be giving from a dry and depleted place. Because if you do, you're going to show up being tired, being exhausted, and being raggedy. And that isn't what we want to present to the world. I'm encouraging you to sit back on this journey, grab your electronic devices, or if you're old school like me, grab a pen and paper, because there are going to be some speakers who are going to drop some amazing knowledge that is going to change your whole entire life. So all I need for you is to type ready in the comment section, throw up some emojis, and let's get started with today's first speaker.
And welcome to the Health and Wellness Summit. My name is Angelique Hamilton. I am the founder and the CEO of the HR Chic Group. We are a human resources culture consultancy supporting the small business and startup. So it is a pleasure for me today to really discuss a topic that is dear to my heart, and that is about the prime period of our life for those of us that are over 50. So today's topic is really to cover how you can really pivot during this prime point in your life and really mastering emotional balance and self-care at 50 plus and beyond. So it's so important that this is our golden years, that we really enjoy this period of our time. So today we wanted to really get into understanding this golden age, as most people call it. As we step into our 50s and beyond, we're encountering changes. Our body is changing, everything is changing, and it can feel like really a blessing and a challenge at the same time. So perhaps you're considering a career change, a lifestyle change, maybe embarking on possibly retiring, or there could be some health concerns for you that are more prevalent than you've ever had before. So this is the time to really focusing on balancing work, whether you're a volunteer, you're retired, or you're working part-time or full-time, how you can balance that piece of your life that's significant for you to manage those family obligations, your personal obligations, so that they're just not just those life events that you can often feel like you're juggling between the two. And it sometimes threatens your overall emotional well being and wellness. So for me, it's all about having a different perspective on how we view this. What if we see these changes in our life as a fertile ground for us for growth? We're planting the seed today for the future of tomorrow. So it's so important that we look at this point in our life as the beautiful flowers that are preparing to bloom. And that it's all about us really trying to focus on what's most important for us at a very graceful, deliberate pivot, and one that really enhances our emotional balance and really elevates our self care as those that are over 50. So, this is really the heart of the pivot. So, as we get to this stage in our life, it's all about leveraging our life experience. We have a considerable amount of wealth of life knowledge and life experiences that we bring to the table in any group, any situation that we're put in. So, at this stage of our life, it's all about how we've navigated these hurdles, how we've celebrated these victories, how we've actually looked at the lessons that we've learned that have really built the person that we are today. So that's really through our resilience, our triumph. And now is a time for us to really focus on the wisdom that we've gained and to focus on what's most important to us, and that is ourselves. So focusing on that professionally as well as personally. So embracing your emotional wisdom. That does mean voicing your feelings, how you feel about things with intent, as well as not keeping them all bottled in. And so when we do this, we're able to build bridges to those that we love and that we're connected to. And we can lay a foundation that helps us to make better decisions about our life, as well as increase our satisfaction in where we are, either at work or around in our community. So that is so important as we continue to leverage our life experience. But as we talk about it, what's most important is the necessity of self-care. This is not just a buzzword that we hear every day about is self-care, self-care. It's not an added or just a bonus. This is essential to who we are as individuals. It's about not only just indulging in ourselves, but it's about focusing on who we are, what's the well-being, what's our own needs, and recognizing that we do have limits. There are limits to what we can do, but we can't honor everything. There's a saying that you can't pour out of an empty cup. So if you are always over capacity, always overwhelmed, always overextended, now is the time for you to really gauge on who you are and what you want to focus on for the balance of your life. So it's not selfish to care about you and care about your well-being. This is a time for you to focus on balancing your diet, your health, and just being concerned about the things that stresses you and elevates you to a level where you don't need to be. So nurturing our physical health, thinking about mindfulness, and shaping our positive thinking. The more we focus on the negative and those things that causes us anxiety, the more stressors that we have. So it's about fortifying your emotional well-being, building relationships with the people that you love so that they can support and sustain you through any challenges that you have. And with these practices, you can truly shape the lifestyle that you want. I know you're saying that it sounds too easy to be true, but it is easy to create one piece of building capacity, and that is interjecting and including the word no. You can't be everywhere at every time, at every place, and support everybody. You got to learn to say no. So, this is the time to do that. We're at a stage of ourselves that we've taken care of everyone. So now is a time for us to really focus on ourselves and focus on who we are truly important to. Because again, if we can't take care of ourselves, we won't be here to take care of others. So again, not only do we have that self-care, it's about having that holistic resilience and community support. So how do we support one another? So it's only not just about yourself and your body, but it's about the spirit, how you're interconnected with that emotional well-being, the journey that we're currently on. How do we complete it and continue it every day? It's not about just falling down or, never getting back up, but we can rise again after we've been through some hard stuff. Hard things are going to happen to us, but we have to be a little bit focused on how to really bounce back from that, being more stronger and a little wiser with the things that we go through. So as we're navigating these prime years, it's just remembering with the community that we're connected to. It's so many 50 plus and beyond that are there to have your back, that will support you. So, looking for that community that can shape you and also connect with you, and also is there to be that shoulder that you need when there's a time that is trying for you as an individual. So, turning those challenges into triumphs is what it's all about during this period, and just reinforcing what it means to not only just focus on one of us, but when we focus on all of us together, we can build a community of support on focusing on having that great balance and being able to truly pivot. So, as we get to this journey, the journey is not just a hard one, but this is a fun one. This is a time of our life where we get to do everything pretty much all over again. But no, it's about really having that mastermind of shaping the balance of your lifestyle and focusing on what you want to be the best years ahead of you, breaking down the barriers that you're actually engaged with, redefining what it means for your well-being at work and beyond, and just creating an environment for you that you can truly succeed in through resilience, through support, through wisdom, and the power of community. That's what's so important. It's all about you. It's all about your presence, your commitment to the journey as you make the prime pivot. It's about creating that rich lifestyle of a well being, a wholeness, and a oneness of you. So, this is about bringing that attention to everything that you hope for and want for. So I just want you to really think about this pivot. This is not a time to really get down in the dumps about who you are. This is the golden age, the golden shape, and the best time of your life that you can create the best journey. So if there's anything that you need and you want further support, you can contact me directly at the HR Chic Group on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also follow our website at www.hrchicgroup.com. Remember, this is the Pride Pivot, and this is time for you to make that change.
Never imagined I would be standing beside a real pyramid touching history. I grew up watching stories with pyramids on TV, and here we were, my father and I, on a trip of a lifetime, an educational tour in Egypt, going into the pyramids, seeing historical sites, and even riding a camel. Even though my father and I shared a room, we didn't get a chance to really talk too much because I had so much to do to help and assist with the trip. But I didn't worry about that because I knew when we got back, we would be able to share pictures and have the rest of our life to talk about what we saw and how we felt and what we learned and experiences that we had. But sadly, that never happened. You see, my father never made it out of the airport in New York when we came back. He had been dealing with high blood pressure and stress from the job, and he'd been suffering with it for a long time. He didn't always take the meds because of the way they made him feel, the side effects. And he'd also been dealing with some other challenges like glaucoma. And I watched every time he went to get his eyes checked, the eyeglasses got thicker and thicker, and his sight got worse and worse. As a graphic artist, he was afraid that one day he might lose his sight. I made a decision that I was going to find some alternative, natural, holistic ways to help people who are suffering so that people would have holistic choices. I found acupuncture and other natural holistic systems that I studied, like aromatherapy, pranic healing, EFT, NLP, heart math, and these systems enabled me to help people like Jasmine. Jasmine found herself working under an increasingly stressful and intolerable work environment that over a year saw her frustration, anger, and resentment increase, and her health was suffering. She had an upcoming meeting scheduled to confront her supervisor and worried that it might not go well. She felt like a volcano about to erupt. Jasmine and I worked together, and I was able to help her release the most intense emotions safely. And she said her heart felt so much lighter. And she was pleasantly surprised that she was able to handle what could have been a very tense meeting, relaxed and with ease. Peace family, my name is Brian Nicholas, and I'm the owner of Design to Transform, and I help those who are suffering, especially with mental, emotional, and also physical pain, use energetic healing systems like pranic healing and acupuncture and the other systems I mentioned to get their life back better. Our presentation today is titled From Stress to Serenity, Heart Wisdom for Healing. It will touch on the transformative power of heart coherence and the significance of promoting holistic well-being. First, let's talk about stress. Often described as the body's response to external or internal pressures, and it's a pervasive issue that impacts physical, mental, and emotional health. In acupuncture, excessive stress is seen as disrupting the flow of qi, our life force energies, leading to imbalances and disharmonies in the body, affecting our organs and other parts of our body. Now let's look at the heart's role in healing. When I was learning biology, the heart was presented as a pump, while the brain was given props as the most important organ and the sole residence of our intelligence. Well, the heart, according to many traditional systems, is not just a physical organ, but also the emperor, residence of the Shen or the spirit in acupuncture, seat of the consciousness and mental clarity and integrity. And in ancient Egypt, the heart was revered as holding the essence of a person's character and moral integrity. And now science is caught up and validates what the ancients knew. The heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field coordinating the body's systems, and its field strength surpasses that of the brain. As a matter of fact, there's more signaling from the heart to the brain than vice versa. So by cultivating heart coherence, which aligns with this ancient knowledge, we can tap into the wisdom of the heart and facilitate healing on a profound level. Today, while stress impacts our modern lives, the timeless solution lies within the power and intelligence within our own hearts. What is coherence? According to heart math, heart coherence is a state where the heart's rhythmic pattern becomes smooth, stable, and sine wave-like. This occurs when the heart, brain, and autonomic nervous system synchronize through sustained positive emotion like appreciation, gratitude, love. This state helps us build resiliency, and it's restorative on all levels, physical, mental, emotional. On the other hand, heart incoherence refers to an erratic, disordered pattern in the heart's rhythms. I live in New Jersey, and we recently experienced an earthquake. It reminded me of an incoherent heart rhythm pattern, which occurs in times of stress and negative emotions like anxiety, frustration, overwhelm. These states over time can incoherence can weaken the immune system, cognitive functions, emotional regulation, and decision-making abilities. Now, let's conclude with a short practice of activating our hearts. And I invite you to touch the area at the center of the chest, level with your heart. I invite you to think of somebody or a situation you really appreciate or are deeply grateful for. And take a few moments to allow that appreciation and gratitude to permeate throughout your body and notice what you're feeling. Look, there's a whole lot more, and I'm going to be hosting a 3-day challenge, Bounce Back by Design. And if you're welcome to join us. Text the word HEART, HERT, to 862-201-3530. Again, text the word HEART to 862-201-3530. Family, it's been a pleasure being able to share this time with you.
I grew up in a close-knit neighborhood. My best friend Yolanda, her grandmother lived right next door. On this particular day, we played inside her big mom's home, running throughout the house, up the stairs, throughout all the rooms, laughing, giggling, hiding. We had a ball. Her uncle's room was above us. I can hear him coming down the stairs. As he approached, Yolanda left. My heart started racing. I was scared. He tried to get me to go upstairs, but I refused. He gently pulled me toward him, sat down, and he did the unthinkable. After he finished, I ran home and entered through the back door where my mom and my cousin were cooking. My mom, "What's on your dress?" Abbott. What? Abbott. And Essie, I don't believe Abbott would do that. Yeah, I don't believe Abbott would do that either. Yes, he did, I screamed. My mom told me to go upstairs and take off those dirty clothes. I needed my mom to believe me. I needed my mom to know Abbott did it. I wrote a book. My book is called Mommy, I Need You. It is about the sexual abuse I suffered at the age of 10 by a next door neighbor and how my mom didn't believe me, but how God, in his grace and power, helped me to triumph. So how did I win? It started with my thoughts. And more precisely, it started with my distorted thoughts. What are distorted thoughts or cognitive distorted thoughts? Cognitive distortions are thoughts, patterns that twist our perception of reality, often lead us to adopt false or negative beliefs. Essentially, they are a mental filter that can distort truth, convincing us to accept misconceptions as reality. It can contribute to mental health challenges, depression, anxiety, and shame. So, what were some of my distorted thoughts? I'm not good enough. It's all my fault. No one will believe me, even if I'm telling the truth. God is angry with me. I should have known better. No one understands me. And the list goes on. Consider this. Research found that the average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Out of those thousands of thoughts, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. Play it again, Sam. The distorted thoughts can significantly impact our mental health and well-being. It can lead to all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, labeling, mislabeling, discounting the positive, and should statements. I fell into a deep depression, lost over 35 pounds. I had thoughts of suicide, and I cried daily for the Lord to heal my mind. Lord, please heal my mind. By identifying and challenging these distorted thoughts, we can begin to foster a more significant mental health awareness and work towards breaking the stigma associated with these thought patterns. As a psychotherapist specializing in cognitive behavioral therapy, which focuses on the truth setting us free, there is a quote by John Maxwell: "Your thinking, more than anything else, shapes how you live." It's really true. If you change the way you think, you can change your life. I am a living testament, and my book is the written word. So, how do we move from distortions to having a more positive, rational thoughts? I'm glad you asked. I've cultivated a transformative strategy that intertwines spiritual enrichment with professional expertise. This approach involves a dedicated pursuit of knowledge from religious and industry thought leaders like David Burns, and the internalization of scriptures through memorization. By invoking prayer and vocalizing words of scripture as a powerful tool, I confronted and conquered cognitive distortions. I also employed techniques such as cognitive exposure or cognitive flooding to deal with anxiety, to take the teeth out of the monster. This consistent application of these practices have revolutionized my life and profoundly influenced the lives of my clients. Mental well-being is a year-round commitment, and understanding and addressing cognitive distortions is a key to improving mental health. I invite you to visit my website and grab a copy of my gift, The 15 Styles of Distorted Thinking, at reginachall.com. And you can also drop me a line if you are ready to change how you think and your life trajectory. God bless you, and God bless your hearts.
Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. Before we start talking about busy versus productive, I want to paint a little picture for you by asking you a question. Have you ever been that person to say, "I have been running around like a chicken with its head cut off"? Well, before you say that again, let me tell you where that phrase comes from. I'm a country girl, and my grandparents had a farm, and on that farm, they had chickens. And when it was time to consume those chickens, the adults would go into the chicken coop, pick the chicken, cut its head off. What would the chicken do? Run around until its essence, its life, had drained out of it. It couldn't fight no more. it couldn't go anymore. So when you say you're running around like a chicken with its head off, you say you have given all of you and there is nothing left for you, your family, or anything else. So after this moment, I don't want you to ever say that again, because I want you to go from surviving to thriving. I want your mental and emotional health to be at its best. And you can't do that being busy, because busy people go, 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 go. And what they're going doesn't feed their goals. It feeds activities. Productive people, they're doing things, and they're doing a lot of things, but those things are centered around their goals, and they're completed it within the allotted time using the designated resources. How do I know this? Well, I'm so glad you asked. As a simplified productivity coach, what I do is arm my clients with the necessary tools needed to refine their scheduling, enhance their organizational and prioritizational skills, thereby helping them increase the accomplishment of their goals and increase their bank accounts. How do I know what I'm talking about? Y'all ask some good questions. I'm trying to tell you on today. Well, I'm a mother of 6, a wife, not just a wife, the wife of a senior pastor, 4-time published author, international speaker. I'm a licensed realtor who owns their own firm, and a simplified productivity coach. So, baby, I walk out what I talk about. Okay, write that down, because I know you didn't come to my presentation, okay, without your paper and pen. She walks out, write that. She walks out what she talks about. Now, I gave you some definitions about being busy versus being productive. I want you to write this down. Time is the currency of productivity. Why? Once you spend it, you can't get it back. There are 24 hours in every single day. That's it. No more, no less. Time is the currency of productivity. The productive person values their time. The productive person has a strong no game, N-O, a strong no game, because they understand that boundaries have to be respected. A busy person lets everything come in. Well, I'll figure out how I can do it. I'll figure out where to put it. If it's not in alignment with your goals for that day, for that week, for that month, you say no, or you table it, or you delegate it to somebody else. That's what a productive person understands. Their no game is very strong. I want you to write this down. Throw away your to-do list. To-do lists are fake. To-do lists give a false sense of accomplishment. Why are you saying that? Honey, listen, that to-do list is stressing you out. If you look at your list, right? And I know some of y'all have a to-do list and a calendar. So I know you running on fumes. That to-do list, let's say starting on Monday, you wrote all your 10, 12 things down. You got 2 done. Shifted all that to Tuesday. Got 4 done on top of Tuesday's things that you added to the list. By the time Wednesday comes, you got 20 things going. I'm getting stressed just talking about it. Get rid of it. If it's worth your time, it goes on your calendar, period. If it's worth your time, it goes on your calendar. No more to-do lists. I don't care what they've taught you. I don't care what they've said. It is stressing you out, ma'am and sir. The next thing I want you to write down is I must celebrate myself. Celebrate your wins every single week. It's a win if you normally would have gone off on somebody and you held your peace. That's a win. Not relying on that to-do list and putting everything in your calendar, designated time and time frame, is a win. Getting the right amount of sleep is a win. You have to celebrate everything that you do so that you feel like you're accomplishing. That's what productive people do, because we understand Pennies make nickels, make dimes, make quarters, make dollars. So you celebrate every win because it leads up to the big goal, and you check it off. Time is productivity's most important thing. It's the currency of productivity. And I want you to stop being busy. Strengthen your no game. Strengthen it. And the last thing I want to talk about, and I know I'm going through this fast, but we don't have a lot of time together. The last thing, you have to start your morning off right and end your day in peace. Write that down. I will start my morning off right and end my day in peace. When you get up, don't immediately start going into emails and text messages. Take a quiet time, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and just get yourself together. Just you, nobody knocking, nobody calling. And at the end of your day, if you've got a lot of things going on in your mind, write it all out in a journal along with your wins so you can get it off your mind and onto the paper. We want your mental health to be actually healthy and not dilapidated. Okay? We want you, we meaning you and I, we in this together, your emotional health to be strong. You're no longer surviving. You are thriving, my sister and my brother. You are thriving. Throw away that to-do list. It's fake. Get your no game strong. Understand the value of your time, because if you don't understand the value, life will tell you how valuable it is, because life will dictate what you do. Now, I know I gave you a lot of things really, really fast, but the next thing I'm going to do is give you the opportunity to have some time with me one-on-one. I want you to go to nishikamelton.com. That's N as in Nancy, ICHICA, M as in money, ELTON.com. And I have prepared for you a free FREE Cut the BS discovery call with me, one-on-one, 30 minutes. And in that 30 minutes, we come up with strategies. We talk about where you are versus where you want to be. So just go to my website and book your free call. And once we complete that call, you also get another freebie. You get my free ebook after the call is complete. Listen, you are no longer going to be busy. You are no longer running around like a chicken with its head cut off. You are going to give yourself your best, your family your best, your business your best, because you understand that time is valuable. Your time is valuable. You understand that that to-do list is stressing you out and it is straight trash. You understand that everything you do is worth celebrating. You understand that you are going to start your morning off right and end your day in peace. You understand that your mental and emotional well-being is a priority. And I want you to understand this. When I talk about goals, I'm not just talking about your business goals. I'm also talking about your personal goals. And a productive person includes themselves in everything that they do. Every day, there's time set aside for you. So understand, you are no longer a busy person. You, my sister and my brother, are a productive person. Thank you for your time. Go to my website, nishikamelton.com, and let's have a chat. Take care.
Are you ready to share your message with the world? Introducing PitchDB, the all-in-one platform revolutionizing the way speakers connect with podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. With access to over 3 million platforms, finding your perfect speaking opportunity has never been easier. Our AI integrations create personalized bios and pitches, setting you apart from the crowd. Join the movement of speakers taking the world stage today. Join now at pitchdb.com.
Imagine facing an adversary so formidable it changes the course of your life in an instant. That adversary for me 10 years ago was stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer, a diagnosis that's as rare as it is aggressive. My name is Catrice Nolan, and I didn't just face this challenge. I navigated it, learned from it, and emerged with a mission. A mission not merely to survive, but to empower, educate, and transform the cancer care journey for others. Today, I stand before you not only as a survivor, but as a beacon of what's possible when we harness the collective power of community support alongside the innovative advancements of digital tools. In the next few minutes, let me take you on a journey that transcends survival and leads to thriving, a journey where digital tools and a supportive community are not just aids, but essential companions in the fight against cancer. Whether you're navigating this path yourself, supporting a loved one, or here to gain insights, join me. Together, let's explore how to transform the cancer care experience, leveraging every resource at our disposal to not just fight cancer, but to thrive in its aftermath. In the darkest moments of my battle with cancer, it was the light of community that guided me through. Imagine, if you will, a network of support so strong it becomes your lifeline. Following my journey, I detailed in my book, I've Been Diagnosed Now What? I learned that no one fights cancer alone. The stories I share there are not just mine, but also those of countless others who found solace, strength, and survival through community. I recall the warmth of conversations, the shared tears, and the laughter that echoed even on the hard days. From support groups to the messages flooding my social media, each word of encouragement was a beacon of hope. But what does this community look like? It's survivors, patients, caregivers, all coming together, creating a tapestry of resilience. Our shared experiences form a bond unbreakable by cancer's harshness. Engaging in support groups, whether in cozy living rooms or across the vast expanse of the internet, opens up a world of mutual support. These spaces offer more than just advice. They offer a family bound not by blood, but by a shared journey. Online forums, social media groups, and virtual meetings have extended this family globally. In these spaces, we share, we learn, and most importantly, we grow together. The power of our collective voice, our stories, and our support is monumental. I am a testament to the power of community in action. It's a force that not only propels us through the toughest fights, but also transforms the very essence of the cancer journey. Let us continue to build these bridges of support, for they are our strongest weapons in the fight against cancer. In today's world, where information is at our fingertips, digital tools stand as formidable allies in our journey through cancer care. The landscape is vast, but navigating it can bring unparalleled support and empowerment. Social media platforms, online forums,
and discussion boards are more than just digital spaces. They are vibrant communities where patients and caregivers can find a wealth of information, connect with advocacy groups, and share experiences that light the way for others walking a similar path. Healthcare apps have revolutionized how we manage care. Imagine tracking your treatment progress, scheduling appointments, or even communicating with your healthcare team, all from the palm of your hand. Apps like My Cancer Coach and CareZone have become indispensable tools for many in our community. AI tools and personalized healthcare apps go a step further, offering tailored advice and insights based on your unique health profile. They can predict side effects, recommend lifestyle adjustments, and even remind you to take your medication, making the cancer experience as personalized as it is comprehensive. Let's take the example of an app that uses AI to interpret symptoms and provide guidance on when to seek medical advice. Or consider online platforms that connect you with virtual support groups where you could share your journey and find solace in the stories of others. These digital tools do more than just streamline our care. They empower us to take control of our health journey, offering support, knowledge, and a sense of community that can make all the difference. In the battle against cancer, knowledge is power and connection is strength. By embracing these digital allies, we not only navigate the cancer journey with more confidence, but also pave the way for a future where every patient can access the care and support they deserve. In our journey to conquer cancer, merging the warmth of community support with the efficiency of digital tools creates a powerful synergy. Here are practical strategies to harness this combination, enhancing your path to recovery and empowerment. First, start with social media. Platforms like Facebook and Instagram are not just for staying in touch, they're gateways to global support networks. Join cancer support groups, but remember the key is engagement. Share your story, ask questions, and offer support to others. Next, leverage healthcare apps. From medication reminders to symptom trackers, these tools can put control in your hands. But how do you choose the right one? Look for apps with positive reviews from reputable sources and consider those recommended by healthcare professionals. Combining digital tools with community support also means tapping into online forums and webinars. These platforms offer a wealth of knowledge from experts and survivors alike. However, it's crucial to vet the information for accuracy. Cross reference advice with trusted healthcare websites or consult your doctor. Lastly, don't overlook the power of video chats and virtual meetings to stay connected with your support network. In times when physical presence isn't possible, these tools ensure you're never truly alone. Remember, while digital tools offer convenience and a wealth of information, the heart of our fight against cancer lies in the strength of our community. It's the combination of both that equips us with the resilience, knowledge, and support needed to navigate this journey. Together, with the right tools and a united community, we're unstoppable. Let's embrace these strategies and move forward with confidence and hope. As we close, I urge each of you to embrace the dual powers of community support and digital tools. Together, they offer us more than a lifeline. They offer a path to thrive, echoing our journey beyond survival. Let's leverage these resources not just to fight cancer, but to transform our journey into one of empowerment, resilience, and triumph. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and a heartfelt thanks to the Black Speakers Network for this platform. Together, we're not just surviving, we're thriving. Be sure to follow me on social media on the handle at Catrice Nolan. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, guests, and all those united today in the pursuit of wellness, my name is the Reverend Dr. A. Louise Bonaparte. Over the past 30 years, I have navigated the intricate corridors of healthcare, beginning as a licensed practical nurse, advancing through the ranks to become a registered nurse, further heightening my expertise as a nurse practitioner, and ultimately dedicating myself to the rigorous discipline of surgical oncology. My commitment to medicine has been paralleled by an equally fervent pursuit of scientific research, seeking to illuminate the shadows cast by cancer. Today, I come before you having retired from the active practice of medicine to serve in full-time ministry and to lead my family's global enterprise as its CEO. Yet the call to share the wisdom gleaned from my years in oncology and research continues to echo, bringing me before audiences around the world to speak on issues on grave importance. We are gathered here under a banner that reads, Unity in Wellness, Strengthening Mind and Body Together, a theme that resonates with the very core of our shared mission. It is a call to action, urging us to bridge the gap in cancer care that African American communities face, a gap that has left too many to walk a solitary path through illness. And it is without the full support and guidance they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, the cancer care landscape before us reveals a disquieting truth. African American communities bear a disproportionate burden of this disease. This community faces an uphill battle not only against cancer itself, but also against the systematic inequalities that hinder their fight. Socioeconomic disparities, limited access to quality health care, and cultural beliefs that may delay early detection and treatment. We must confront these challenges with a comprehensive strategy that marries awareness, education, and early detection with culturally sensitive support services. Such a strategy is not merely a clinical pathway, but a covenant with those we serve, a promise to uphold the dignity and respect the culture heritage of every patient as we guide them toward healing. However, to truly understand the impact of cancer on African American communities, we must look beyond the numbers and see the faces, hear the voices, and feel the stories of those who live in this reality. We must recognize that the path to wellness is not just a physical one. It is an emotional and spiritual trek that requires the sustenance of community and faith. This is where the spiritual community can play a crucial role. Faith leaders and institutions are woven into the very fabric of the African American life, providing solace and strength in times of trial. They can be powerful allies in our quest for health equality. Using the platforms to promote cancer awareness, encouraging early screening, and dismantle the myths that may prevent individuals from seeking care. The spiritual community can also offer a unique dimension of support, one that nourishes the soul and provides a refuge for those grappling with the psychological toll of illness. By integrating spiritual care into our healthcare strategies, we enhance the healing process, recognizing that wellness is a harmonious balance of mind, body, and spirit. Education and awareness are the cornerstones of change. We must ensure the accurate information about cancer prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and it should be accessible to all, especially African American communities, where misinformation goes rampant. Education empowers, equips, and gives us knowledge to make informed decisions about our health. Early detection initiatives are equally vital. They are the vanguard in our battle against cancer, enabling us to confront the disease at its most vulnerable. By advocating for equitable access to screening programs and diagnostic tools, we can change the trajectory of cancer care in African American communities, transforming a story of disparity into one of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, our journey does not end with the provision of service. It is extended into the realm of advocacy, where we must raise our voices to demand healthcare policies that reflect the needs and realities of those we serve. We must be tireless in our efforts to secure funding for research that includes diverse populations, ensuring that advances in cancer treatment benefit all, not just a privileged few. In closing, let us remember that the unity we seek in wellness is not a distant ideal. It is a goal within our grasp, one that we can achieve through collective effort, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice. As we move forward, let us do so with the understanding that our work has the power to not just change lives, but to save them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for lending me your ears, your hearts, and your hands in this noble endeavor. Together, we must and let us forge a future where every individual, regardless of race or heritage, can walk the path of wellness with the full support of a community that stands united in strength and purpose. Thank you, and God bless you.
My name is Dr. Kimberly Walker. I am a psychiatrist with more than 30 years experience, and I'm a coach. Before I begin speaking about hidden obstacles on your wellness path, I have a question for you. Are you well? I know that in 2021, at the height of the COVID pandemic, I became burned out, like many mental health professionals, and I was not well. But I will come back to that a little bit later. So wellness can be defined as the state of optimal health, and especially when actively pursuing this goal. And wellness has been described with different dimensions, such as physical, emotional, financial, intellectual, social, spiritual, and vocational. So we hopefully will have some harmony with the different dimensions of wellness. You know, and I'm not insinuating that everything is going to be perfectly balanced. Clearly, wellness is a journey, and many of us may think of it as a marathon. And the path that we take is certainly not straight. There are going to be times of good amounts of wellness, and there may be times where there are setbacks. I think that it's clear that wellness depends on some extent to accessibility, to being able to access good habits and having supports. The system, unfortunately, is set up so that certain groups of people do not have access to what they need. The system also communicates to certain groups of people in a way that sows seeds of dissension. So there are certainly some unhealthy communications that are occurring, and it's tough out here. Toni Morrison said, if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then you need to empower somebody else. I believe that those of us who do have some resources have a duty to help support those who are have less than us, that have less resources. However, we also have a duty to take care of ourselves, and many of us are not doing that. When I talk to my patients about wellness, I speak about routines. The routine of rest, getting enough sleep is very important, and trying to set up yourself for success in this area helps. Eliminating screen time 30 minutes before bedtime, keeping as much blue light out of your sleeping area as possible. The routine of getting up in the morning and trying to center yourself, whether that's prayer, meditation, quiet time, sitting and just trying to gather your thoughts to get the day started. Routine of moving your body. Movement is so important. A short walk after a meal, stretching, yoga. If you belong to a gym, that's great, but you don't have to belong to a gym to exercise. It's important to hydrate, to eat in a mindful manner, to take your time to eat, to try to avoid fast food, takeout, at least limit those things. What are you putting in your body? Limiting substances, caffeine, alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, sugar, just to name some. Also, what are we taking into our minds? What are you reading? What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? Is it building you up or is it tearing you down? How do you feel after watching something or listening to something? I have patients that may watch gory movies or crime scene investigation shows, and then their sleep is disturbed. Now, I can't guarantee that that is the reason, but Sometimes I think it is. So think about those things. Think about what the habits that you have and if they are building you up or tearing you down. What if you are doing everything you need to do, that you know to do, and you still are not feeling well? Obviously, I'm going to recommend that you see your physician, but day after day, we hear about Black women in academia, medicine, law, corporate situations who are falling. Some, leave their jobs of their own accord to get away from the toxic work environments. Others, unfortunately, fall from the terrible treatment. Others are forced to leave because of unfair judgment, unfair evaluation. Many of us deal with a lifetime of not only not being celebrated, but being denigrated. And those experiences can lead to the internalization of limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are unconscious ideas, unconscious beliefs that can affect the way we move about in our lives. If you are feeling frustrated, beating yourself up because you can't move forward or feel like you have failed, I ask you to give yourself grace and consider that it may be limiting beliefs that are getting in the way, and they can, look like feeling like you're not enough, feeling like you are not able to take advantage of opportunities, that you're different and you can't connect. You're too old, you're too young. So take heart, because although these limiting beliefs are tricky, they can be overcome. They can be resolved. I mentioned that I became burned out. And in my quest to find a way to feel better, to figure out something, I came across rapid transformational therapy, or RTT, which was developed by Marissa Peer. And in studying for it, in order to provide the modality to other people, I became aware of some of my limiting beliefs, and happily was able to resolve many of them. I mean, it's an ongoing journey, but it has been life-changing. So I just want to let you all know that I am passionate about trying to help other women who are, maybe experiencing limiting beliefs. I have a free PDF on my website called Your 5-Step Guide to Getting Unstuck. So I encourage you to check that out. My website is drwalkercoach.com. That's drwalkercoach.com. And you can certainly feel free to, book a free call to speak with me. So in parting, I wish you health. I wish you wellness in all dimensions, because we have work to do.
My name is Dr. Giovanni Spinner, author, TEDx speaker, and health equity strategist. I'm the CEO and founder of Beacon Public Health. I founded Beacon Public Health with the vision to diminish the impact of chronic diseases among Black, Indigenous, and people of color. My work addresses health inequities by developing culturally relevant health education programs and resources, providing professional development and technical assistance, and leading health equity research. It's critically important to use a health equity lens when doing your work, whether you are engaged in policy, programs, administration, or research, for example. Today, I'm going to talk about the maternal mortality crisis in America. Did you know that the United States is one of the most dangerous places to give birth in the developed world? We have maternal mortality rates similar to low-income countries, despite spending twice as much on health as other high-income countries. The shocking reality is 80% of maternal deaths are preventable. The burden is not equitable across racial and ethnic groups. And unfortunately, Black women are carrying the brunt of these disparities. Black women die at rates of at least 2 to 3 times higher than any other group. And these inequities increase with age. Over the age of 30, Black women are 4 to 5 times more likely to die. The data is clear. Black women have the highest maternal mortality rate, and it has steadily increased over the years. I want to take this time to focus on the underlying causes so we can better understand the problem and ultimately come up with tangible, sustainable solutions. Maternal mortality serves as a key indicator of a nation's health and social economic development. And it's evident that the United States is failing mothers in many respects. These inequities persist today due to the enduring presence of racism, class oppression, patriarchy, and other root causes that impact the social, political, and structural determinants of health. We know the rates are high, especially for Black mothers. This is a generational issue that has been concerning since slavery. For starters, Black birthing people were seen as commodities to only work and be exploited for their reproduction. They were expected to work, putting themselves and their baby in danger of complication. And let's not forget that many modern OB techniques that were the result of experimenting on the bodies of enslaved African women without anesthesia. So it's easy to connect the dots that historical oppression has contributed to modern-day systemic inequities that continue to impact the health and well-being of Black mothers. Regardless of education or income levels, Black mothers are still dying at higher rates. The biggest issue? Black women are not heard or valued during their childbirth experiences and do not have equitable access to culturally tailored care that puts their needs at the forefront. The leading underlying causes of pregnancy-related death include mental health conditions, excessive bleeding, cardiac and coronary conditions, infection, thrombotic embolism, which is a type of a blood clot, cardiomyopathy, a disease of the heart muscle, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy relating to high blood pressure. Some of the contributing factors to maternal mortality include provider bias, systems of care issues, and individual risk factors. So let's break all of this down. Provider bias happens when providers make stereotyped and prejudiced assumptions about patients and their best interests, which can lead to failure to screen, lack of appropriate referral to specialist care, delayed or misdiagnosis or treatment, or failure to seek additional consultation. Another area of concern is the systems of care. Institutional racism is embedded in our systems of care. The very systems that are supposed to protect and care for us, cracks in the system have led to inadequately trained or unavailable personnel in some cases, lack of culturally responsive policies and procedures, and lack of care coordination, for example. Let's be clear, the system is broken and was not designed to support Black women to have a positive health experience. Institutional racism is deeply embedded into the bureaucracies and social structures of institutions such as hospitals. Research shows that Black women report being discriminated against during their prenatal visits and receive differential treatment compared to their white counterparts. Black women also reported having to deal with negativity, stereotyping, and assumptions based on the color of their skin, and much of this negativity stems from providers' implicit bias. Another point I want to raise contributing to maternal mortality is racism. Black women living in America have a unique lived experience. For starters, we experience weathering, which happens when you experience cumulative stressors, making Black women more susceptible to adverse birth outcomes. Being Black is not the issue. The racism resulting from being treated negatively due to being Black, that is the problem. Some of the poor health outcomes stem from patient behaviors and risk factors, such as chronic conditions like obesity or high blood pressure, lack of awareness of warning signs and the need to seek care, unable to follow up with an OB or primary care provider, or inadequate information about postpartum care and follow-up. However, while these issues may persist at the individual level, it's important to note that these issues are connected to the social determinants of health. Social determinants of health, these are those conditions and environments where people are born, live, work, play, worship, and age. And they affect a wide range of health, functioning, and quality of life outcomes and health risk, most of which are out of a person's control. So it's not fair to place blame entirely on the mother. People can only make health-related decisions based on the resources they have access to. We need to get to the point where the healthy choice is the easy choice. This means addressing the systemic issues that are preventing Black mothers from getting the care they deserve. Every mother should come home to raise their healthy baby. Having access to culturally competent and patient-centered care is critical to close the maternal mortality gap. We need a diverse workforce that is reflective of the population being served. One strategy to address this pressing issue is to curate culturally tailored health education campaigns like Mamas for Life. The Mamas for Life maternal health campaign aims to raise awareness about the maternal mortality disparities experienced by Black women and bring attention to the role that doulas and midwives play in improving health outcomes for both mother and baby. This is a multifaceted campaign that includes free, downloadable educational materials such as a webinar, articles, videos, and a communication toolkit that has social media messages to help start the conversation. Our goal at Beacon Public Health is to provide tools and resources to help mothers and their support team, public health practitioners, healthcare providers, and others to raise awareness and educate on the role of doulas and midwives. Our materials are culturally tailored and center the mother's voice through storytelling. A group of women shared their experiences with using a doula and/or a midwife and the positive impact it had on their birthing journey. In this campaign, we talk about the difference between doulas and midwives. For example, doulas. They are trained and experienced birthing advocates. They provide support for mom and baby through encouragement and advocating on behalf of the mother. They provide emotional support and also empower the mother to make her own decisions surrounding her birth, as well as stating her wants and needs. They do not provide clinical care. Midwives, on the other hand, they are trained healthcare providers, and they can provide physical examinations, they can prescribe medications, admit, manage, or discharge patients, and they can also order and interpret lab and/or diagnostic testing. Additionally, they can also provide support similar to a doula. Integrating doulas and midwives is crucial because they provide personalized and holistic care during pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum period, improving maternal and infant health outcomes while respecting cultural and individual preferences. Integrating doulas and midwives is crucial because they provide personalized and holistic care during pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum, improving maternal and infant health outcomes while respecting cultural and individual preferences. Their support enhances the birthing experience, reduces medical interventions, and promotes positive mental health for birthing individuals and their families. I encourage all pregnant persons or anyone considering becoming pregnant to consider using a doula or midwife. In some cases, their services are covered by insurance, and some states have doula and/or midwife programs. To close the maternal mortality gap and ensure Black women survive childbirth, we can take the following steps. We can start the conversation like we've done today and bring attention to the problem. We can advocate and support Black mothers. We can implement policies and programs to improve access to care, including access to doulas and midwives, education, and also social safety net programs, and eliminate systemic barriers that entrench bias and inequalities. All mothers deserve to have a healthy birthing experience. Integrating doulas and midwives is one solution that can make this a reality. To learn more about my work, continue this conversation, or collaborate, connect with me on social media at Dr. Giovanni Spinner, or you can check out my website at beaconpublichealth.com. Thank you.
Meet PitchDB, the ultimate platform for speakers looking to make their mark on podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. PitchDB provides access to over 3 million platforms, ensuring you find the perfect avenue for your message. With AI integrations, your bios and pitches are tailored uniquely to each opportunity, giving you the edge you need. Join now at pitchdb.com.
Keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we will not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. Buddha. Hey everybody, my name is Nadeem Samor. I'm the owner of For the Soul Culinary LLC, and today I'll be sharing with you guys the 4 pillars that you need to master in your health in order to unlock the highest level version of yourselves. The reason why I want to start off with that quote today is because it's going to tie into everything that we talked to as far as mastering these 4 pillars go. We have to make sure that our bodies are in good health because it is directly connected to our minds. How I derive this methodology is actually from my biblical interpretation of the Bible. When I look at the very beginning of Genesis, where it says God created the heavens above and the earth below, it kind of represents a duality that's within us of the heavens being our spirit and the physical, our bodies being the earth. And so in order to truly have the highest level version of ourselves, we have to ascend from the physical up to our spiritual and master the things that are in between. And so the 4 pillars I'm going to discuss with you today are mastering your physical health, which is the first level, mastering your mental health, which is the second level, mastering your spiritual health, which is the third pillar, and the 4th and final pillar is financial health. So starting off with the first pillar of mastering physical health, we all know about diet and exercise, and those are key things that we need to incorporate in order to operate at a high level mentally and have the proper energy that we need. But how do we do that? Of course, people are going to tell you that you need to go diet, cut out certain things. It doesn't have to be that complicated at first. We are naturally going to progress because our latter days are better than our former. So the scripture kind of implies that we're supposed to be progressing the longer that we do something. When it comes down to our physical health, start off small. When it comes to exercising, start off with walking. You'll naturally want to start running and then potentially lifting weights as time goes on. But take the time out just to get 10 minutes outside every day. Just walk. And just see how that's going to compound in the area of exercise, but also other areas of your life too. You'll then also naturally start eating better. You will want to start eating better after exercising for so long. You're going to be like, let me try to take care of myself in this way. Now, when it comes to our diet, there's simple tips and tricks that you can even utilize without even making drastic changes to your diet that I'm going to give you guys for free today. Number 1 is the glucose revolution. It talks about the impact of glucose spikes after we eat meals on our overall health and wellness, and with our weight loss and weight gain. By eating foods in either the proper order or by doing something simple as taking a 10-minute walk after eating a meal can drastically reduce your glucose spike to help you lose weight and help you just overall feel better. When it comes to eating food in the proper orders, start off with leafy greens and end with sweets. Try to do the leafy greens first, then focus on your proteins, then come in with your carbs, and then lastly wrap up with any sweet thing that you would like to eat. If you do that and follow it by a 10-minute walk after you eat, you'll drastically notice an improvement in your emotions, how you're interacting with people, your energy levels, and if you suffer from chronic fatigue, that could also be a place of help as well. There's one thing that I also want to give you guys too when it comes to physical health is the time of day that you are eating. Our body naturally operates in a circadian rhythm, which is a 24-hour cycle. And so naturally, the same is true with how we digest our food. It operates in a 24-hour cycle. So I'll kind of start off with the first cycle from 12 o'clock to 8 p.m. These cycles are 3 and they're broken up into 8 hours. These are the proper time for you to be eating and digesting. This is when your body is naturally predisposed to burn calories and digest food, and our metabolism peaks during this time. So it's the ideal time for us to eat. If we notice, it's also when the sun is at its highest point. After that, from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. is when your body is absorbing everything that you took in from the day and processing it. If you eat during this cycle, you could suffer from chronic fatigue. By making this simple adjustment, you could eliminate some of the chronic fatigue and energy that you're feeling. The final cycle is elimination. And so from 4 a.m. until noon, your body is eliminating waste. So during this time frame, try to refrain from eating, but if you need to eat, focus on eating fruits and drinking liquids like water to help your body eliminate during this cycle. Those are 3 easy tips that you can do to help improve your physical health. Now that we've mastered the physical, we're going to ascend a little bit to our mental health. We noticed that in the quote that I mentioned earlier, that if we don't take care of our bodies, we need to take care of our bodies in order for our minds to be sound and clear. So when it comes to our mental health, taking care of our body is naturally going to boost our mental health. But another thing that we need to do in our community is heal from traumas. I never knew how much our traumas that we experience in our life could have an impact on our physical health, but also our mental health too. And so it's important that you seek out the resources that you need for therapy to overcome some of those traumas so that you can unlock the next level in your spiritual health. For me, I noticed that I lost both of my parents when I was young, and I was carrying that pain with me into all the other relationships that I had, which allowed me to have a limited experience of life, really, with the people that loved and cared about me, because I had a fear and I had a trauma that I had to overcome. Once I was able to overcome that trauma, I noticed how different things in my life began to drastically improve very quickly. And so that's going to kind of lead to the next thing. The next level of ascension for these pillars is our spiritual health. How do we improve our spiritual health, and what is even spiritual health? Spiritual health has everything to do with character and how we operate in the world around us. If you can operate by honesty, integrity, be peaceful and loving to all those that you encounter, you'll be surprised at how much it can improve your spirit. Also, just being generous with your time, generous with your resources, generous with your money. All these different things can help improve your spirit and how you present yourself in the world. Naturally, as our bodies and our minds truly become healthier, our spirit is going to improve as well. We have better energy, we give off more positivity, and the positivity translates over into our spiritual, because we're able to attract certain things into our lives because of the way that we're able to, because of our outlook on the world and our interactions that we have. What you focus on expands. If you have a positive outlook and you focus on positivity, positivity expands in your life. But the opposite is also true. If you focus on negativity, then that is going to expand. In our spiritual, we were all created to be in abundance as humans. If we look at Adam and Eve, they were first placed in the Garden of Eden, which was an abundant place from what the scripture tells us. As soon as they started to focus on the lack of what they didn't have, that's when they got kicked out of the garden and had to look back on all the abundance they could have had they not have focused on that lack. And the same is true for us in our spirit. Focus on your abundance, focus on everything that's right in front of you that God has blessed you with, and it will continue to increase. What we focus on expands. So mastering our spirit is to have a focus on positive outlooks and a focus on the abundance that we have already been given instead of what we are lacking. We also notice in this environment too, it was called the perfect environment, but there was still quote unquote lack in it. So no matter where you are, you're going to have some type of lack in your life, but the key is not to focus on that lack, but focus on the abundance. So your abundance can expand and your lack is going to shrink. Finally, we talk about financial health. When it comes to focusing on abundance, like I said, what you focus on expands. If you focus on abundance in your life, that's also going to translate over into your finances. So if you are able to have abundant finances, now at this point, you need to make sure that you're being a good steward of it in order to attract more. Financial health is all about stewardship, having a budget, learning about savings and investing, putting aside a percentage of your check every single day, every single time that you get paid or every single time that you get money. One, to give. Very first, you have to give what you desire to receive. If you want to receive money, you have to be willing to give money. So that's the number one rule of being a good steward of your money. Number two is putting aside a set of percentage away for savings and investing. Obviously, we only have 10 minutes, so I can't go into depth on all these concepts, but that is the key in order to mastering your financial health, the interconnected of us all. If one of these pillars is out of whack, all the other ones will fall apart. I'll just give you a quick example. If your finances are not together, that can drastically impact your physical health because you're stressed out. It could drastically impact your mental health because you're focused on the negativity and the lack, and that will diminish your spirit because you feel less than. And so it's important that you make sure that you maintain all these pillars. It's not difficult to obtain these things, but it can be difficult to maintain them. So making sure that you put in the effort each and every day to maintain these pillars, and I promise you, you will be drastically impressed by the type of life that you are able to have by making sure that these pillars are in proper conjunction with each other. I encourage you all, take these lessons and do your own research to develop your knowledge in these subjects, and I promise you your life will be drastically better in ways that you could have never even imagined by just applying these things. Thank you all for your time. If you want to connect with me, feel free to connect with me on Instagram and TikTok at chef_smooth. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next trip. Enjoy the rest of the summit.
I'm Ingrid from Fitness Factor Pro. As a healthy lifestyle coach, my mission is to help others enjoy a quality of life through a lifestyle that supports their total well-being. Many times, this requires a shift in their paradigm. What once worked, what they've heard, thought of, or even previously experienced. I call it a detox. Releasing previous experiences and ideologies and removing things that don't support one's goals and well-being. Let's take a peek at the variety of elements that affect our overall well-being. As you can see, there are a plethora of aspects that contribute to our overall well-being, which is defined as our individual perception of feeling good and being satisfied with life. I think the most popular dimension is physical fitness. When I'm doing corporate and community workshops and working with clients one-on-one and mention well-being, fitness is usually the first thing that comes to their minds. But our well-being is so much more than that. It includes each of these areas as well as subcategories within each of them. Each one of these dimensions contributes to our overall well-being, and some of these aspects overlap. If I'm invited to go over to a friend's house for dinner, play games, and we talk, and I share an issue that I'm having at work, and they offer support to help me determine how to approach it, which area of well-being would you say that falls within? Perhaps you feel that it falls within the social pillar since I'm with a friend, or maybe the discussion about a work issue and the support they've given me makes you think of it falling within the emotional dimension. And you'd be right. Both of those thoughts are correct. Many aspects of life overlap with a few dimensions of wellness. And so because of that, we know that it's important to consider each of these areas as part of our well-being. When one area is affected, all of them can be impacted. That's why it's so important to build harmony between these dimensions. You want to build some sort of harmony between them to contribute to your overall health and well-being. When I'm coaching a client one-on-one, regardless of their goals, I'm always beginning with assessing their readiness for change, their thoughts, their mindset regarding where they are, what they've experienced, why they've set specific goals, and what they feel is doable or not doable. It all starts there, right in the mind. What we think, what we feel, what we experience, it's all contributing to how we process things and how we deal with things. And this directly aligns with the emotional and mental health dimension. I want to talk about that piece in a little bit more detail. The Global Council on Brain Health defines mental health as our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, which affects how we think, feel, and how we act. It helps us determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others and make healthy choices, and our ability to cope and function. It is the absence of mental illness. It's our abilities to make decisions, to build our relationships, to shape our own individual worlds. With that in mind, let's take a moment to consider what mental health and well-being is and how a more holistic approach can have a huge impact. Be your own wellness vigilante. Rather than focusing solely on your mental health or any one area of well-being, I encourage you to shift your paradigm, and alongside determining the what and how, consider building resiliency and harmony across all of the dimensions that impact well-being. The Global Council on Brain Health defines resiliency as the ability to adapt to the challenging experiences and the capacity to withstand or recover from them. Stressors are not going anywhere. They're here to stay. But we can improve upon our ability to handle the stressors and manage our emotional and mental well-being with positive habits. These 6 tools that I'd like to offer you will do just that. Let's pause and dedicate a few moments to our self-care. I'd like to lead you in a breathwork exercise. If you'd go ahead and sit comfortably with your feet flat and your back against your chair back, raise one hand, but keep the arm relaxed by resting your elbow on the arm of the chair or your elbow in towards your rib cage. And spread your fingers apart. We're going to trace the fingers with our forefinger of the opposite hand. And for every sweep up, we'll inhale. For every swoop down, we're going to exhale. And use about 5 seconds for each part of that breath. Try it with me. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and slow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time. Inhale. Pause right here at the top of the finger. And slowly exhale. Thank you for taking time, just a few moments, for a bit of self-care. That was just 50 seconds of breath work using a boxed breathing technique. I hope you are already feeling a positive response from it. You're invited to follow me at Fitness Factor Pro on social media. I'd love to share a complimentary self-care quiz with you. It'll get you thinking a little bit more about your current state of emotional and mental well-being. Or I'd just love to talk with you in more detail about an action plan that helps you detox from the things that aren't contributing positively to your overall well-being. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm so grateful for your time. One love. Thank you.
Coach, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. Today we are going to talk about how to become more resilient and overcome obstacles. After watching this session, you will have the tools you need to overcome any challenge life throws at you so that you can go from surviving to thriving. I would like to open this session with a story. The story of Casey Dawson. Casey is an American speed skater who qualified for the Beijing 2022 Olympics. 3 weeks before he was supposed to go to the Olympics, he tested positive for COVID-19. And the positive tests kept coming and coming and coming to the point that his team left the country without him. And Casey was left behind, wondering whether he was going to attend the Olympics. He was upset, devastated, because he had worked for this his entire life, just to be told that he couldn't go to the Olympics. But with that, he kept hoping and praying that maybe there was a slim chance that he might have the opportunity to go to the Beijing 2022 Olympics. And that chance came when 48 hours before he was supposed to be competing, he was cleared by the authorities, the American authorities, to fly to Beijing. Now, going to China is not something that you do at the very last minute. You have to plan for it because it's a very long flight. And all the flights were booked. So Casey found a way to book what I would call Frankenstein flights. He found a way to cobble together some flights. So he flew from Salt Lake City, Utah to Atlanta. And from Atlanta, he took a red eye to Paris. From Paris, he took another red eye to Beijing. And he arrived the day he was supposed to compete. Now, when he arrived in Beijing, the authorities told him that he needed to take more COVID tests before they can clear him. They told him that he could go to the Olympic Village if and only if he can continue to quarantine while they wait for his test results to come back. Shortly before he was supposed to compete, he was cleared to actually compete. Then he realized that not all of his luggage got to Beijing with him, including the most important one, the piece of luggage that contained his rollerblades. Now, if you know anything about speed skating, you know that these skates are custom designed for each athlete. They were designed to help the athlete win the competition, and they could mean the difference between winning and losing. But Casey was still wanting to compete, so he went to the ice rink at the Olympic, and he ended up borrowing skates from a competitor. And he was just glad that he had an opportunity to get on the ice and compete. And he did. He got on the ice, but understandably, he didn't do so well in that competition because he flew 11,000 miles in 2 days, didn't sleep, he was jet lagged, he was tired, he didn't have the right skates, but he still competed. He came second to last. Out of 29 athletes, he was the 28th athlete in terms of the placement. Now, why am I telling you this story? The reason I am sharing this story with you is because it's a story of resilience. There's a high correlation between resilience and mental health, depression, and anxiety. There was a Mayo study that was done that showed that people who tend to be more resilient are 4 times less likely to be depressed. They have 3 times the rates of anxiety. They have a better overall mental health. They have reduced stress in their lives, and they just have an overall sense of well-being much better than those who feel that they are not as resilient. Now, this is important because resilience can actually help you feel better in terms of mental health and just, again, as you see on this slide, overall mental health. So if resilience is so powerful in helping prevent all of these, including burnout, how do you become more resilient? One of the best ways to build resilience is to use rituals. Rituals are very powerful because they are part of the human social experience. We, as human beings, have grown to be around people that are like us, to feel social and to interact with other human beings. Now, this is important because rituals help ground us and they help us connect with other people, and they also help us find out what it is that we are meant to do in life and what our purpose is, because it's by connecting with other individuals that we find out really what our passion is and what our purpose is. Now, rituals could be anything like maybe a prayer, praying every day, or going to church or to the mosque, to the synagogue, to a temple. Whatever your ritual is, it could be meditation, it could be taking part in sports, it could even be having a hobby, right? It could be sports, basketball, anything that you consider to be ritualistic. It doesn't necessarily mean something spiritual or something that's related to religion. No, it could be anything that helps ground you. It could be yoga. It could be really anything that you do that makes you feel better. Now, the key to using rituals effectively to help build resilience is that you have to do them regularly. Whether you do it daily, whether you do it weekly, it has to be something that you do within a certain consistency to be able to see the benefits of it, right? Again, it could be meditating for 20 minutes every day, could be just closing your eyes and being in your favorite spot and imagining that you are in your best, most favorite spot in the world, right? But the key is you do that consistently day in and day out, depending on the cadence and the frequency you want to do it. And it's also important to in that it helps you break the routines of life, right? How many of us wake up every day and do the same things? We wake up, we jump in the shower, we brush our teeth, we have breakfast, we commute to work, we come back, right? So we do the same things over and over again, and that over time can be very repetitive and very, very demoralizing, and can contribute negatively to our mental health if we don't do other things like rituals, right? Another way that you can build resilience is by using our past experiences. Now, if you look back at your life, you will realize that you've had a whole host of events that happened since the day you were born, right? So think about a baby, for example, being born. Before they can walk, they have to learn to crawl, and before they can run, they have to learn to walk. But as they learn to crawl and to walk, they fall multiple times, and what do? They learn from those experiences. So likely with you and your experiences, you have all of these experiences that happen in your life. Your first heartbreak, when you fell off a bike learning how to ride, when you were maybe doing jump rope and you fell or hurt your ankle, and the list goes on. Your first divorce, the first time you survived an illness, right? The first time you lost someone you loved, and the list goes on and on. And what happens is that if you take those events by themselves, and these are what I call micro resilience events, by themselves, these events are meaningless, right? Learning to ride a bike, it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. However, when you look back in your life and realize how many of these things that you have survived and what they have taught you, you realize that, which is a lesson here, that you have it in you and you've had it in you all along. Life has been building you up to face unimaginable and seemingly unsurmountable challenges. It's just a matter of channeling into those past experiences and remembering that you as an individual are a lot stronger than you think, and channeling those events and remembering the things that you've overcome, even if you look back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So when you use those experiences, you realize that you have a lot more to offer than you think. Now, all of these two things in particular, rituals and micro-resilience events, are part of a larger framework that I call frames, right? So it's around a framework that teaches you how to be more resilient. And these are two of the pillars that you can use to actually make you more resilient. So if you use these pillars that I talked about, rituals and micro-resilience events, you will have within you the tools that you need to overcome obstacles and face challenges. And that by itself can help you feel a better sense of well-being, be more resilient, and actually reduce all of those challenges, whether it's related to mental health or to struggles that you might have about, the direction that you want to take your life, or just as a general, overall, it can help you realize why you have been put on this earth, and that you have it in you to actually be able to overcome a lot of challenges, and you are a lot stronger than you think. I hope that these tips are helpful to you, and If you have any questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me throughout social media. I am at Odieng, O-D-I-E-N-G, and thank you for watching.